Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross and I was always told I had a voice for radio, so today I am continuing my look at all of the characters from Pokkén Tournament, and today we are going to be looking at Suicune, a character that I was very interested to play as, because he seems to have some good ranged attacks, but also be able to get in there nice and close. So, character I've been trying to have a look at for a while, one that I've been excited about. We are back in the Red League because it's the third out of 5 leagues, and when I'm trying out a new character, I want to be able to kind of show you all of their moves, and I want to be able to show you, a few things about them, and I want to be able to kind of go into a league where I have a little bit of a chance. I think the Iron and the Chroma leagues are a little bit too difficult until you've really got to grips with a character, and though I've spent a good couple hours in the training mode and done a good dozen or so battles with these characters, I'm far from experts with them by now. So we're starting off, and that is its Hydro Pump attack, following up of a little bit of an Icy Wind there, and we get a little bit of an attack getting rid of his grab, which is very nice, and I get a little combo there, chucking him up in the air and hitting with a Hydro Pump, which is very nice indeed. And here he's getting a little bit of blocking there, he's blocking all of my normal attacks, and he even gets me with a grab. And as much as I don't like being grabbed, I do kind of like Pikachu Libre's grab attacks. They're a bit funner, shall we say. So I'm trying to fall behind a little bit here, but I hit with a counter attack, and that is the fight. I like Suicune's counter attack. He jumps forward, not unlike Garchomp's strong attack in the duel phase. You get to kind of charge forward a bit, go across the field, and I quite like that. So I'm here again, and we see another counter attack. It gets blocked, but grab goes through blocks, so I get the grab straight away. But Pikachu Libre gets his burst, and there's a nice little attack Suicune's got. You can see here, I'm spamming it just a little bit. Just throws up a little bit of water a couple feet away from you, and it really helps to keep your opponent at bay. Unfortunately, Pikachu Libre is off, and he's put his attack up, and he's put my speed down, but I've got my synergy burst, and I've got a little bit of a projectile attack there, and I knock him up against the wall, and I use my burst attack, but I use it too early, unfortunately. The thing about the burst attack for Suicune is that when your opponent's in the air, it's a really good time to use a burst attack. You essentially throw a circle out with Suicune's burst attack, so your opponent basically falls into it. Unfortunately, if they're already on the floor, then they don't get hit, and that is unfortunate. These things happen. But I managed to finish off Pikachu Libre, and there we go. So Suicune's burst attack, what you really want, if you can do it while they're in the air, it's fantastic, because they will fall into it and be unable to block it or get around it in any other way. Otherwise, just operating it, getting it going when they're quite close to you is, as always, a very, very good thing to do, because, they're unlikely to be able to block it. Doing it when they're on the floor doesn't work. So we're going with the Frogadier and Eevee combination of support Pokemon here. And the reason for it is Frogadier, he knocks your opponent up into the air with his little attacks. And that's really good for comboing into your burst attack, or comboing into something like a Hydro Pump where you're really chucking that attack, across the screen a little bit. So we're starting off here, and you see with his side ranged attacks there, Suicune, he puts those little balls out, and then they fly at the opponent. It's quite nice for staying away from your opponent. So I'm trying a bit of a jumping attack there, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not doing it as well as I could, but Suicune's got some nice, easy to use little combos, and I'm getting them going. Unfortunately, in the battle of counter-attacks, Garchomp is winning. He's getting his counter-attacks going better than I'm getting mine. But out comes Frogadier, and although I knock him away, I create a bit of space. I don't get my Hydro Pump, and he continues with his counter-attacks, and that is, shall we say, less than ideal. Now that is the Blizzard attack from Suicune, which I missed with, as Garchomp called in Espeon, and as he calls in Espeon, I managed to get a phase change, a phase shift, and Espeon does nothing. I also got my Aurora Beam there going up. That's the little green thing which is being thrown away, and all of a sudden I've got Frogadier again, and I'm just creating a little bit of space there. It's not working brilliantly, however I do manage to get a counter attack going, and I finish him off, and we're over to round 2. Now, I like Frogadier as a support Pokemon for Suicune. I'm not such a fan of Eevee, purely because he gives you some stat boost and he puts a little bit of health, but it's not fantastic. I do manage to catch Garchomp against the wall there, though. I get a bit of an air combo going while he's against the wall. It is always good to trap your opponent against the wall. They hang there for a minute and they do give up combo opportunities, and that is quite nice. Here, I get my Synergy Burst attack, and make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, it is a very good, I timed it rightly there. I got it at the right time, and I managed to hit him full on. Does a lot of damage. I get a little bit of I get a ranged attack there. I get a Blizzard following up with an Icy Wind, and there's just that forward and X attack there, throwing up that little piece of water right in front of their face. It's a nice little attack. It's one of the kind of the mid-range attacks, I suppose. It's not great if they're right up in your face. Similarly, it's not great if they're far away from you, but it's a nice little attack to throw up if they're a little way away. And this is one of the things I like about Suicune as a character in Pokkén Tournament. If they're miles away, you can jump and use that Blizzard attack, which is quite powerful. If they're a medium way away, you can use something like that little stream of water. It doesn't have its own name. It's a forward strong attack if you want to be a pedant about it. And if they're nice and close, we've got those little combos that Suicune is very, very good at. The ones we've the ones we've seen a few times before. The ones which, you get those little combos going and they end up, with Hydro Pump or things of those nature comboing in quite nicely. So we start with Frogadier, of course we do. He charges faster than Eevee. That makes him a more sensible candidate. And straight off there with an Aurora Beam, it's a fast thing to do. And we follow it up with a Blizzard and an Icy Wind that misses because he's on the floor. Following straight off a little bit of a combo, my grab attack gets countered because of the old attack triangle, but a counter attack knocks him nice and quickly there. He gets around the Hydro Pump, but not the second Hydro Pump. And this game, ladies and gentlemen, and there's a Hail, which calls in those little, icicles, which come and fall on him from a little way away. And just a couple of weak attacks and he goes down. So that fight, I went aggressive. And I like Suicune. Now, I don't think I've put enough time in with Suicune. I'm trying to get all these videos out in the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to do some more expert videos as we go along, some updated impressions. The videos will not stop, but I want to give you my first impression of all of these characters nice and quickly. So, although I've had a couple hours with Suicune, it is nowhere near as much as I like. So Weavile comes in with that combo, but in comes Eevee. Oh, and have I timed it? No, I haven't. I've missed the timing. So I got the Eevee out nicely. I put my attack up, and that was good, but I missed the burst attack. I did, however, get a good counter attack followed with a combo, and that was my Mirror Coat, although I unfortunately didn't do much with it there. And another little Mirror Coat there, and then we get that ranged attack, which is very nice. And I get hit with a grab by Weavile, which is unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. There's the up and strong attack there from Suicune. He spins around, creates a little bit of space, and although I didn't hit with it, it allowed me to create that little bit of space I needed just to finish out the round. So, down goes Sableye. Not Sableye, it's not Sableye at all. That's Weavile. That is very silly of me to say. Oh, and a purple leopard print shirt. That is a lucky bonus if ever I've seen one, ladies and gentlemen. If there's one thing I was sitting here thinking I wanted, it was a purple leopard print shirt, and I've got it, and I'm happy. So another fight against Pikachu Libre. Now, I haven't had a go as Pikachu Libre yet, not properly. Again, my Pikachu Libre video will be coming in the next few days. By next weekend, I'm hoping to have gone through all the characters. These videos are, for the time being, going to get a little bit more regular. Pikachu Libre is one of the most annoying characters to play against, I've found. So I hit an Aurora Beam, I miss with a Blizzard, and Pikachu Libre gets in nice and close. And this is what he tends to do, so I need to be careful. He traps me against the wall there, and as he does that, of course, he's able to keep me up against the wall, get a bit of a combo going. So I need to get something here, because I'm being trapped against the wall, he's getting these combos in. I need to create a little bit of space. Now I get my Frogadier going, and I hit him. And I miss with my Hydro Pump, but I hit with another one there. And just getting a few ranged attacks here is going to be what the doctor ordered. So I'm getting these ranged attacks, I hit him with a Hydro Pump, and this is something I find about Suicune. Now, I do hit with a Blizzard there, which is very nice. My Icy Wind goes over him, but I get my counter attack, and I hit with a grab, and that will be... No, that's not enough, ladies and gentlemen. That's not quite enough. He's still going, but couple little ranged attacks will finish him off. I find Suicune, I change my fighting style a bit more. Garchomp, I always want to get in close. Chandelure, I always want to stay away. Suicune, against some characters, I'm happy getting in close and mixing it up with combos, but against a character like Pikachu Libre, I like to try and keep my distance. It's counterattacks and it's projectiles, and that is about all I'm looking for. Because as you can see, when Pikachu Libre gets me up nice and close, gets me against the wall, it does not go very well. Now, the good news is there, I took advantage of my Synergy Burst. When you use Synergy Burst, you get a couple seconds of immunity, and Pikachu Libre was about to use his burst attack, but he used it as I got my Synergy Burst off, took advantage of that little bit of immunity, and actually managed to avoid his burst attack. So a couple little hails going off there, which is, of course, always a nice little bonus, a counter attack, and a grab, which is very nice, and I've got him down to very low health. My counter attack misses, but my grab hits, and now I will get the finishing off with the grab, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Pikachu Libre down. There's something about watching Suicune on a boat, surrounded by water, just kicking tail and doing what Suicune does. There's something about that that makes me happy. I feel like I know the Pokemon do not really have home stadiums. Like in a lot of fighting games, you see characters, they all have their stadium, their arena in which they fight. We don't get that on Pokkén Tournament, which is something that's a bit missing from the game, unfortunately. But I feel like if Suicune had a home arena, it would look a little bit something like a boat on water. So we're in the final round of this little series here on Suicune. We're against Lucario, and by now I'm hoping you've got a little bit of a bead on Suicune. You've got your ranged attacks like your Hydro Pump, like your Blizzard, like your Hail, but then you can get in close, and Aurora Beam, which I'm using there, which is a quicker version of Hydro Pump. Sometimes Hydro Pump, well, it always leaves you a bit vulnerable. There's a Hail. So Aurora Beam can be nice because it chucks out so much quicker, and it can be just a nice little thing to hit right as the round starts. Hit with a Aurora Beam and off you go. Now, I did get a Blizzard there, which was quite nice. I missed with the Aurora Beam as Lucario jumps over it, but I get a grab attack as he lands, and I will take that. That is good for me. Now, the Hydro Pump, even when I don't hit with it, it forces my opponent to try and avoid it and get around it. That means that I can plan my next attack as he's doing so, and I am quite alright with that. There we see a counter-attack, and I like Suicune's counter-attack more than most characters. The fact that it jumps across the screen, the fact that it closes a gap a little bit, I find it has a little bit of an advantage over other counter-attacks. Maybe it's just me, but I like it a little bit more. So Lucario's coming in here, he gets his Bone Rush, and I'm a little bit on the back foot here. And I get a grab attack there, and we're doing alright. We're evening it up a little bit. But shall we say I am on the back foot. This is not looking great, but I managed to sweep to the side, avoid his attacks, get a couple of ranged attacks going there, and I pull off an incredibly narrow victory. So I try an Aurora Beam right away there. I miss with it, but I have the time to charge up a Hydro Pump, and off we go. My Blizzard unfortunately misses him, as does my Icy Wind, and then he blocks a few regular attacks. And it's not looking great because the second he blocks them, he comes out of a little combo of his own. Luckily, he's using normal attacks, and as we've learned from the attack triangle, normal attacks are beaten by counter attacks. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit proud of that combo I just pulled off there. That was a nice little combo. And then we get an Aurora Beam straight after my Synergy Burst. And here we get a little bit of a combo going. Oh, and I was actually trying to do a combo and then pull off my burst attack. Obviously, if you're in the middle of a combo and you cancel into a burst attack, essentially you just pull off your burst attack and it cancels what you were doing and goes into the burst. That was what I was trying to do, but actually that was unneeded because I straight away just got the KO as it was. So yeah, There we go, that's Suicune, and I like Suicune. I hope I've explained enough about him. If you got any questions about Suicune, any comments about Suicune, do put them down there in the comment section. That is what it's there for. I've already got my Gardevoir video ready to go, and I'm going to be, like I say, by next weekend, I'm trying to have got through my first run of all the characters. So click that like button and tell your friends, ladies and gentlemen, these Pokkén videos, they're doing alright, but they're not getting the views my TCG videos are doing. It makes me sad. Click that subscribe button if you haven't, get a friend subscribe on your behalf if you have, and the most important thing as always, look after yourself till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.